but God intervened. God saw the character that I was. God saw the character that I was, and I thought nobody was listening and everyone around me was hurting me. But God saw, and God saved me, and I know that God walks with me, and He saw me carrying that cross. He saw me carrying that cross, and He came to me, and I never questioned God. I never questioned God. I never questioned God. I never questioned God. I fear God. I serve the big G in the sky. I serve the big G in the sky. It's hot. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Did I do good enough? What's up, everyone? It's Russo. Taking the Tism Town cap off. I hope everyone is doing well. I am not suicidal. I am in great mental health. I am with my family that loves me with light and open hearts, real love, not fake love. I am only here because the big G in the sky. I serve the big G in the sky. This video is hard for me to make, but I am only here because of the big G in the sky, and I live in America. The kids in America, I am going to speak up for the kids. I want to save the children, and between you and me and my audience, I have the best audience in the biohacking space for sticking with me during that spiritual awakening. My mother, on a recorded phone call with the Secret Service that met me at a local LA Fitness, stated I was a victim, that I have a lot of grief. These are already on recorded lines. I did not change my phone number. Once again, the Secret Service visited me and is protecting me. I drove down the street past a lot of agents that are defending my freedom of speech. If you are trying to cut out a man's tongue, you're only trying to cut out the truth. I am with the big G in the sky. Tom Riddle. Jeez, this is a good prop. Tom Riddle was connected to Harry Potter to prepare him for the evil he will go against when he joins the Order of the Phoenix. I have been in spiritual warfare. I have lit the white sage, so this is easier to talk through. Freemasonry, the Spirit Wars, is going to start. The Great Reset and the Great Awakening of everyone's pine cones is going to happen, is happening currently. And the last spiritual biohacking episode will be on energy vampires. Just letting you know now, I am no longer with Gorilla Mind or Young LA. In fact, I am being protected by the Secret Service as we speak, as I am speaking. There are agents around my house protecting my freedom of speech. So, the Earth Angels have awakened. I am one of them. I appreciate everyone sticking with me. Archangel Ryan James Russo. And between you and me, I wanted to share this moment and I can get this off my chest. An individual, Leo made the lion. I was walking in the mall trying to get my phone number, moved over to my new iPhone. And they're having issues, aka, my 2 cents, Russo, 2 cents, Russo, the line was tapped, and I was having to walk around. An individual with the same mannerisms from the same culture as Leo showcased this statue and said, "This is a masterpiece." As Elon Musk says, have you ever watched Stargate? And Elon Musk is also one of the top Diablo players in the world. and I am with love and light. I am not. Demon mode Russo is done. I have ascended, as I'm saying right again. I am not suicidal. I am in great mental health. I met and talked with someone from the Secret Service for evaluation, and I am coming on here to speak the truth. You cannot cut out my tongue. This is America. Russo's the Ginger Ninja. Russo got the Irish fire mouth, and I am going to speak the truth for the children. Save the children. So my last spiritual biohacking, whatever. Comments will be disabled in this video, and I am just proving to the agents that I am ready to move on with my life, and that, as my mother has stated on a recorded phone call, I have suffered a lot of grief. It has been quite the battle. The Masonry is around stealing people's vibration and pretending to be God when you're not. I will use Justin Bieber as an example. Justin Bieber spoke out in the music video Yummy, and I wanted to speak out as well because I deserve my family vibration for my family. I did not agree or sign any contracts to have my family vibration stolen. As an earth angel, as a star seed, and the star seed was given to me by my Aunt Jeannie and passed down to me to inspire people and toot people up. Not rake people down, not cook people, toot people up. Make them a star, allow them to build their own kingdoms, allow them to expand their own vibration, allow them to develop their own imagination, choices, decisions, and everything in between, with love, light, with the big G in the sky. I fear the big G in the sky. It is Friday the 13th. Ha ha ha. God is very funny. God had a lot of trolling and paradoxes during my spiritual awakening, and I am finally fully awoken. And this video is a lot for me to get on camera, and that statue means a lot to me. I had a quantum event around that statue, and I can tell you right now, I am only alive by the grace of God. So if you want to know, if you're bringing children into this world, I would highly suggest you watch the video Stargate, as Elon Musk recommended, and I would also look into the Diablo cutscene, as Elon Musk recommended. He's the mayor of Tism Town. He already gave Russo everything he needed to know. I'm trying to toot people up in Tism Town. I'm not trying to spell people down, control them, steal their vibe, and give it to someone else when they're not working. I'm not doing that. I'm with love, light, God. God. My spirit family protected me during this time, and I am so blessed, and I want my blessings in abundance to be on my family line. My vibration is mine, God-given. I fucking earned my family vibration. I fucking earned my current vibration, and I shouldn't have my vibration stretched out to other individuals I don't give a fuck about. This video was a long time coming. This video is so much glory to me that I can speak up about this disgusting abuse of pretending to be God. I did want to go into my persona a bit because there's a lot of eyeballs on this video. To describe an Aquarius, I would kind of just go to Pokemon, right? Starting out when I was really little, I would consider myself like a low-level Ditto in Pokemon. I could copy, I had the eyes of Uchiha, I could copy and, mirror people very well. As my mother has stated, people drained Aunt Jeannie. People drained Aunt Jeannie. And I don't like to be drained. I don't like to be drained against my will. I especially don't like to walk away from a table and then have, eyes wide open shut or whatever that video is going on and me being, vibrated to death. I don't enjoy that. I don't have freedom of choice. I was God's creation. I can do as I please. I have freedom of independent choice, freedom of imagination, freedom to pick my own path. And as a star seed, that had a destiny switch done on me. I have seen the terrifying results of someone who did not use my God-given talents for love and light. I am being watched and protected by the Secret Service, the best of the best. Space Force will bring justice. God will bring justice. I want nothing to do with Young LA. I want nothing to do with Gorilla Mind. I want justice to be served. I want to move on with my life. I do not want gang stalkers on my Instagram. I do not want impersonation accounts trying to smear my brand and reputation when I have done nothing wrong other than want to walk away. Why am I not allowed to walk away? Why are there attempts on my life made and there's threats from random phone numbers with loved ones in pictures telling me to be quiet about the truth? This is America. This is America. I don't want my soul ripped apart. If I had children and my son had his soul ripped apart, I would be angry. I would want to protect my children. I would want to protect my family vibration from devil worshippers. I would want justice to be served. My family vibration is mine. My vibration is for my family line. And that is final. And if I don't have independent choice, I'm up like Donald Trump and my call was answered. The best agents are allowing me to post this video on my YouTube. The best of the best. All my phone calls have been recorded. My girlfriend has suffered so much. A true virgin, an angel, body count 1 tattooed on her. I will not be manipulated by black magic that is documented in my comment section that was being tracked. I wanted to win the fight. Archangel Ryan James Russo wanted to be the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear. Master Chief. Master Chief. You know, it's one of these things where I've been waiting so long to make this video. I actually thought I wasn't going to be here to make this video. And I pushed Pitbull, game, dig deep, bite down, bite down, bite down, right? And here I am, at the other side, at victory, at glory. God is real. Trust in God. Seek Jesus. Yeshua. Seek Him. He will help you during these spiritual warfare times. And Elon already gave you everything you need to know. Elon, you ever watch Stargate? Perfect bar by Elon. Oh, I'm topping Diablo. Perfect bar by Elon. I don't want anyone to suffer anywhere near the amount that I have. And I want to speak up, and I want to showcase what was done to me. As I said on a recorded phone call, my mother said I was a victim. My mother said I had a lot of grief. I wanted to talk about the creation of the Sigma and Alpha Omega. So, first off, I just aspire to be an Alpha Omega, right? You know, I aspire to sit in the collective conscious. I ain't no God. I'm just a man that was saved. I'm an anointed man by God that was saved. The only reason I'm here is to speak truth. Nobody can cut my tongue out of my mouth. I say what I want to fucking say. I'm the Ginger Ninja, right? I'm the Ginger Ninja. My vibration was for me. My vibration wasn't to sell clothing for other people's family lines. My vibration wasn't to sell supplements for other families' lines. For other family lines. Did I do everything? Yeah. Did I sell? Yeah. Did I not be able to walk away without Stranger Things episodes happening? Yeah. Were there attempts made on my life with Masonic black magic? Yes. Do I want people to have crazy awareness of this going on? Absolutely. I am so blessed to be able to make this video when Justin Bieber couldn't make this video. All those Diddy victims couldn't make their video when they got abused. I can. And I will. Because if this happened to my children, if this happened to my children's children, and I'm in the spirit realm, in the collective above, I would come down just as my grandmother Russo has come down and defended me. My spirit family did an amazing job. My Irish fire, my starseed is from my Aunt Jeannie. For me, God's given gift. There should be no violation of my soul contract, destiny switch, and the United States Space Force took notice of my great battle. It's been a long road to get to this point where I am able to close this chapter of my life. I want God's abundance to come to me and my family line and my loving friends only. I do not want fake love around me, and I want to be able to walk away and move on. I tried to do that in a peaceful manner. This is all documented in the metaverse. I was not allowed. I was then gang stalked. I have then been hovered over. There have been fake accounts of me trying to ruin my brand. My word stands for my word. My audience stuck with me, and my audience are original gangsters. I want each one of my audience members to not be a carbon cookie cutter Ryan Russo. I do not want to rake people's vibration as if I'm a god. I'm not. I have always made content to help individuals, and I've always made content to encourage people to explore their imagination, have intrinsic abilities along with hyperintelligence, not just hyperintelligence, also intrinsic abilities, imagination, exploration of their own independent path. I don't try to mule someone's soul, cage them in a box, or anything in between, right? I encourage freedom of choice, freedom of decision. I do not lynch people. As Tony Ute says, two different styles, both not plebs. One's illegal. One's gonna be punished under Space Force. And I am so appreciative of the Secret Service coming to me, establishing connection. There's been 2 agents outside my door. They just, showed they're there for me as my protectors to make this video, because this was a lot for me to get to this point. I am so strong. Jeannie made a soldier. Jeannie made a spiritual soldier. Jeannie made a spiritual soldier. Archangel Ryan James Russo. I'm with God. I serve the big G in the sky. I fear the big G in the sky. I wanted to talk about a little collective rake that I got. So, Carolyn's sister, Renee, and by the way, my family is protected. My family is protected by the Secret Service. Anyways, I was at Carolyn's sister's wedding, and they got me this tarantula, Azinthius megascopula. So this is one of the rarest teas ever. I accidentally was a piece of shit and raked Chris down, the husband of Renee, who's my girlfriend's sister. When I get home, I was talking about, you only went to the beach to get me, my tarantula, because their beach trip sucked. And I was being a dick, right? Raking them by accident. And when I got home, collect the boom, heavenly fire, I come home to witness the quantum event of this super rarity being dead. I am humbled by the collective. I serve the collective consciousness. If you watch Stargate, you will see that the collective consciousness wins. Elon Musk wants the collective consciousness to win. And I am super, super blessed to be here. I'm just happy to be alive. I'm just happy to be alive. And very well. I'm doing very well. Ryan Russo, stay high all the time. I did want to talk about energy vampires, so I think the most famous one is the diddler, Diddy, right? He was in a Mason ring. You can judge it or not, right? And he would be a handler. So there were people around me that were giving me fake love. Diddy was the most famous one. I'll show a little clip of Justin Bieber being handled by Diddy. That is masonry. That is black magic. And Donald Trump, I stay up like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is here with Space Force to bring the hammer down. The cabal is going to fall. This is the lifting of the veil. And this is the Diablo spiritual warfare playing out, as Elon Musk has already given you the 2 nuggets that you gotta know. If you watch Stargate and you understand what Diablo's about, and you know Ryan Russo's with love and light and spelling people upwards, and that Ryan Russo was rightfully a starseed, God-given by my Aunt Jeannie, who created an amazing artist, who created an amazing piano player, and inspired me to, come out and be a star. My Aunt Jeannie said, everyone will remember your name, Ryan. She was such a short speller. She had so much sauce on her fucking pine cone that she'd be like, everyone's going to remember your name. I think that's true, And my grandmother Russo was almost a nun in the Catholic Church. And I learned the power of the Holy Spirit, and my grandmother inspired me to public speak. I would go to church all the time and watch my grandmother hit Divine Gateway, get up there, the Holy Spirit frequency, which is mine, which should not be stolen by Masons. It was a God-given gift passed to me from my grandmother and grandfather, living a good life of good karma. I shouldn't have people's bad karma dumped onto my family line illegally, right? And God is going to bring justice. I learned the power of the Holy Spirit because my grandmother would fall down the steps at the church all the time, and she would still go to church. And I would get so devastated when I was a little kid. She was all black and blue. Nope, that Holy Spirit is strong. Her vibration was so strong, she always bounced back. She always bounced back. Crazy high vibrational woman. And yeah, I knew my grandmother was protecting me the entire time in that spiritual debacle, right? I did not have freedom of choice. This is all documented in the metaverse, and I feel comfortable to make this video. I think the big picture is we have to save the children. I don't want my children to have their vibration yanked. I want authority. I want justice. I want Donald Trump's Space Force to allow me to see a world where my children get to be original gangsters. By original gangsters, all I mean is original character, where you're max-tism, right? You're max-tism. Whatever you're into, you're maxing that tism. You're not combining all these vibes and playing God and yanking someone's vibe, putting it on someone else, and raking people and using a vibe handler like Diddy. I want that to come to an end. And the Secret Service has allowed me to post this video to speak for truth. You only want to cut my tongue out because I'm flicking the truth off my wand. I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard. I'm not a warlock. I'll never fucking be a warlock. I fear the big G in the sky. Yeah, so the Alpha Omega, right? The Alpha Omega means that they sit in the collective and they protect the collective. And as the Alpha Omega, which I aspire to be one, right? I definitely claim Sigma. I think I meet all the traits of Sigma. But as an aspiring Alpha Omega, which I do believe Elon Musk is the legit Alpha Omega, the GOAT, right? The greatest player in the actual system game, right? We can all call Putin the top G, and I love the Tates being Alpha and showing the tippy top, and I believe Emery Tate is a genius on winning the game, and they are following in their family line geniuses' footsteps, just as I'm following in Aunt Jeannie and Grandmother Russo's footsteps of how I want to do my own vibration. I want to be my own original gangster. I want to walk with love and light. Tony gave me love and light, and I hope justice is brought for Leo and Longevity's widow. Leo made the lion. Leo made the lion. Leo made the lion. This has been tough to make this video, and I've been cooking up some white sage because it's a Christmas miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. I want no association with Young LA or Gorilla Mind moving forward. I am wearing the Dark Sport Anakin shirt that I bought with my own money. I do not want to be gang stalked by anyone for my religious beliefs and the fact that I have the freedom of speech in America. I have the freedom to defend myself. I have the freedom of speech. I do not want my soul ripped apart. The slaughter of the soul needs to stop. And I sincerely appreciate the Secret Service allowing me to state what happened to me. My mother said on a recorded line, I was a victim. My mother said on a recorded line, I have a lot of grief. The last thing I wanted to do is talk about my destiny switch and or talk about the person who created the Sigma. So I'm not going to use his real name, but if you want to look up Dr. Migich's chiropractic, I went to Moon Area High School. So I'm going to use his gamer tag, which is MSI, and MSI, the logo is the red dragon. So when I was young, around 9th grade, I had aspirations to be in computer science, information systems, programming. This was always my inspiration because I knew computers, technology was going to change the entire world as we knew it, and I knew the singularity, which is when AI eventually gets to the point of human consciousness, there would be a great battle, and I knew the nerds were going to rule the world. And I'll call them the cyber ninjas, right? I'm not Tate calling them geeks. And I'm not making fun of Tate for encouraging geeks to realize that they could also be a top G alpha like Tate. I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying that cyber ninjas have been attacking me every which way. Phone being tapped, been attacked through the phones, matrix attacks, as Tate says. I agree that they would enjoy having the vibration of the top G Tate. However, they're not just geeks, they're cyber ninjas, and they have really, really pushed my boundaries of privacy with this technology. And they've also messed with Tate's online school. Okay? So cyber ninjas are ninjas. They aren't a ginger ninja that'll step or get on a phone call and talk like a man. However, they are currently rolling this matrix system, and the cyber ninjas that serve the big G in the sky are about to level the playing field forever so we can have love and light, and I can grow up in a world where the kids in America have their original gangsta vibrations, right? They're not raked, they're not filled with fake vibe, none of that shit. That's disgusting. I am not God, I am just a man that was anointed and saved by God. I had God-given abilities. My Aunt Jeannie is an Aquarius. We can speak, right? Okay? That is a God-given spiritual ability. I am tired and very, very fatigued, but I'm doing this for the children. I'm doing this for the children. I want to have children in a world that is normal. That this fake vibration shit is put to a stop by Space Force promptly. And if I have to open my mouth, then the Ginger Ninja gonna open his mouth and tell the truth. Okay? I don't go around gossiping, spreading lies. We reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. God brings justice. Glory be to God. Glory be to God. I serve the big G in the sky. Anyways, MSI Ofresho is his name. So he was I'll just call him a incel individual. However, his father was an actual bodybuilder that 100% lived the lifestyle as well as a chiropractor, Dr. Migich. So MSI Ofresho lost his brother in a car accident and it crashed him out. for me, MSI Ofresho was one of my best friends. He taught me programming. He strained out the Ginger Ninja, right? I feel like a lot of perception was I was just like this crazy, demon and like easy to manipulate and all this stuff. But MSI Ofresho gave me true unconditional love long ago. And he was like glacier ice because not only did he lose his older brother in a car accident, which crashed him out, he also had a pituitary tumor, which caused him to not mature correctly. So he was glacier ice. I was Irish fire starseed. We were opposites. Believe it or not, opposites attract, and opposites make a great friendship and or relationship. Believe it or not. That's my logic. I can think independently and freely. I don't need to have words shoved in me. That's not the facts. MSI Ofresho and we were like two peas in a pod. I would talk to him all day. We would play StarCraft 2 at night. And, for example, StarCraft 2 teaches you macro outputs, inputs, as well as micro outputs and inputs, which teaches you binary. You're clicking around in a real-time strategy. You're commanding your units. And it teaches you quantum. You're managing the quantum chess field of StarCraft in live action while quantumly managing the economy in live action while micro binary controlling your units. This is what I use in entrepreneurship to this day. MSI Ofresho was a Grand Master ranked StarCraft player, and he always wanted me to get on his level. He did everything in his power to inspire me to get on his level. Let me just say, the actions per minute that MSI Ofresho was able to achieve in these StarCraft games, he was more hyper intelligent than me. His brain went faster than me. As I did my Eyes of Uchiha and adapted to him, I noticed my imagination and my intrinsic ability took a toll. And for me, imagination, intrinsic ability, being an original gangster, exploring my own path, being happy-go-lucky instead of hyperdrive all the time, I backed off and I got to platinum, and I stopped playing ranked, right? I don't want to lose platinum, right? Because if I'm a platinum, I can be like, I'm a platinum. MSI Ofresho's like, you're not a real platinum. You don't play enough games that certify you platinum, and you just got lucky here, right? You should be a Grand Master. To me, that was his path. I wanted to be on my path. I always respected MSI Ofresho for pushing me. He played Hearthstone with me. Some of my best online gaming moments are from MSI Ofresho because, in my opinion, he could have been a very famous competitive gamer. He could have. And with my Starseed abilities, I always was pushing him. Hey, go on Twitch. Put a face cam up. Play Hearthstone. Oh no, Ryan, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have the attention. It's not for me. I was always trying to push him. He was always trying to push me. I was saying my programming, my crazy ADHD brain, I was caught cheating with MSI Ofresho's homework for programming on a programming project in Oracle that I didn't do, and I was a dumb fuck to not even change MSI Ofresho's name before submitting it. MSI Ofresho always had my back with actual unconditional love. And by the way, my teacher, Mr. Palumbo, forgave me. He took me outside. He knew I was a Ginger Ninja. He forgave me, and he knew me and Tyler were two peas in a pod. And in programming, you don't hyper compete to who's the smartest intellect, who has the smartest intelligence. All my programmers on the other side of this camera know it's a collective in programming. It's a collective. The top programmer, he was like Wozniak. The top programmer, he got an MIT offer, but instead he decided to be, whipped by a woman and didn't go to MIT. But I tried to encourage him to go to MIT, but he picked the woman, and the woman eventually divorced him, and it was a pretty funny story. But one time, he would be known to be able to do Oracle 2, SQL, PSQL so easily. And the one time he couldn't get it to run, I pick out the one error. I feel like a genius in the collective of the programmers around us, and that made me feel so happy, right, that I could help someone out. But most of the time, they were helping my dumbass out. And I sucked at math, but with computer science, because it's creation, imagination, and everyone creates their own code, and then you'll have the better programmer, hey, Russo, like, you could improve your latency output time by writing it like this instead of writing it all hodgepodge. But you still got it to run. You know, computer science, information system, information technology actually made me feel smart. I did not feel smart until I got to hang around all the computer nerds, all the cyber ninjas, and we had a great time, right? We would put games on the public network. When we were little, we would mess around with the teachers' folders, and I have a lot of great memories, a lot of great original gangsta nerds that I got the blessings to mix dichotomy with. And MSIO Fresho was the guy who made the Sigma. I used to be crazy alpha in my younger years. I'm talking like middle school, right? If you messed with me, the Irish fire lit off. You learn very quickly not to mess with me, not to bully me. I was a small little runner individual, but I wrestled. I had brothers in the wrestling room that would beat the fuck out of me, right? The fuck out of me. Beat the fuck out of me. Slam my head off the mat. One time, one of my wrestling coaches, one of my main senseis, you know, he had like white hair. You're like old Super Mario. He didn't like that. He grabbed my head, threw it against the wall, right? So when someone bullied me in the school, well, all my brothers in the wrestling room already beat the shit out of me. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, let's step, talk shit, get hit, right? I come from that pedigree. That's not good for corporate. That's not good to, you know, communicate with. MSIO Fresho was King Beta, and I mean that in a good way. King Beta, the Lich King, in a good way. When I gave him all my star seed, MSIO Fresho was not bullied. He was known as the Dexter Laboratory individual that could help you intellectually hyper expand your intellectual intelligence side, and he had tons of friends. And even the Chad of the school was trying to help him out of crashing out from losing his brother in that car accident. It got to senior year where, again, as my mother would say about my Aunt Jeannie, who's a better Aquarius than me, higher vibrating than me, shorter speller, better speller, and I just tried to be, you know, half of what Jeannie is. And by the way, Jeannie popped that Jezebel love spell like that. You know, it was easy for her to pop that shit. Anyways, you know, my mother would always tell me, you know, everyone drained Jeannie. Everyone wanted to be around Jeannie, take her vibe, drain Jeannie. Jeannie was very nice. Don't be nice. Ryan Russo's not nice. Ryan Russo's not nice, and Ryan Russo, I guess, has been caught being too nice. And this is the point where God is telling me if I want my abundance for my family line, if I want my God-given vibration that I earned over my life, not to be spread out to random people, I have to put my foot down, bring my vibration back to my family, walk away. I tried doing that. I wasn't allowed. It became a spiritual battle. My abundance will come when I put my foot down and I showcase that this is not okay. This is not okay. Yeah, Jeannie was one of those individuals, like I've only had a couple interactions with her that she changed my life forever. And yeah, I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier. That's Jeannie's spelling. You can ask Carolyn. I don't listen to a lot of people, but Jeannie, Carolyn, and my family, I listen to. I love my family. I protect my family. My vibration deserves to be with my family line. My family is safe. My family is protected by love and light. The Secret Service are around me. MSIO Fresho got to senior year, and his inselling was getting worse. You know, I saw him with the hentai porn, and it really like opened my eyes towards like, all right, these nerds are going to rule the world. All right, these nerds are hyper intelligent. His brain moves 1,000 times faster than mine. And I am witnessing, you know, the singularity being formed. I am witnessing the metaverse. As Elon says, you know, the AI is the spawning of the demons. And I am witnessing this all unfold my high school years. Again, Dante and I were very concerned. We thought that we could get MSIO Fresho a woman. We tried multiple times, tried to set him up, we tried to poke around with it. He wasn't interested, and that was just like, he loved us, he loved our attention. I knew as he grew up, the Lynch King days would be over, right? The Lynch King does not last that long. He needed to be a real king. We tried with all our might to be a real king, and it wasn't just my friend group. It was the jocks. This MSI Fresho, like, I feel like a lot of, I'll call it cyber ninjas, right? They get heavily bullied. MSI Fresho was not heavily bullied. He was heavily cherished at Moon Area High School by my entire grade. When I got to senior year, I felt like MSI Fresho was like one of the only friends that didn't drain me, invested in me. Most individuals, when I'm around them, they just want to hear what I have to say to them. They just want me to spell them, and they give me very little in return for the effort I'm putting in. As my mother said, everyone drained Jeannie. Everyone drained Jeannie. MSI Fresho did not drain Ryan Russo, right? Ryan Russo gave MSI Fresho quality Irish Fire Tism, my vibration, voluntarily. Under God, I gave it to him as an authentic friend with real love, no destiny switch. And he gave me hyper intelligence back. He was having me get A's and B's in computer programming. I transferred the intelligence to other classes. And at this point, I felt like he was the one that invested the most in me in high school and made the biggest difference on my dichotomy. And I did not want to see his later years. I already manifested his path if he stayed on the road of being addicted to porn online with hentai, constantly playing video games, frying his brain, not on dutasteride, the pituitary tumor, the death of his brother that crashed him out. It was a lot on my heart, and I talked to Dr. Migich, right? He was a real bodybuilder. He always had girls on him. He trained at the one gym in Moon Township. And when I said for my senior project, I want to try and get Tyler in the gym and get him in shape, Dr. Migich thanked me a lot. And it was going to be my senior project. And my senior project barely got approved on my end. But for MSI Fresho, it 100% got approved easily. So I basically did this entire senior project myself for MSI Fresho. I would constantly walk from Moon Area High School and go over to Dr. Migich's chiropractic and try to get MSI Fresho off the computer to go to the gym. And it was tough. Sometimes he would lock the door, not answer it. He wasn't interested. He's interested in the dopaminergic stimulation of being one of the best StarCraft players in North America, being an exceptionally advanced Hearthstone player, playing all the Blizzard games. He didn't need a girlfriend. He had the online girl thing. This was before OnlyFans, There was a lot of hentai and all that stuff frying his brain, and it was breaking my heart. I have a big heart of a lion. Leo made the lion. And, I continued on. Sometimes I would have to go into the chiropractic area where Dr. Migich worked to get him to unlock the house. So where MSI Fresho, he'd always rake the fuck out of me, and my gamer tag was called Rage on the MIG, right? Dr. Migich's chiropractic, Rage on the MIG. And, we always go back and forth. We always had the best tism. And in the lunch table, we had the greatest lunch table that, like, you couldn't even pull up a chair. And it was me with the fire and Tyler with the glacier ice. So if I tooted someone up, boom, me rake back down. It was crazy. It was crazy. My lunch table memories are some of my best memories, and the reason why I always talk about high school is that's when your dichotomy is so expansive. You really think that you don't change that much for when that prefrontal cortex is still developing in high school. That's where your dichotomy mixes and who you associate yourself around. You become those people, and it means the most. That's why I'm using this story. It gets through the whole year. I do the senior project. I get MSI Fresho to lose weight, diet. His dad is a very good bodybuilder that lives by the lifestyle, like chicken and rice, lean, not Shrek like Russo, very lean and everything. And Dr. Miggins was so happy with me. It was tough getting him to go to the gym. He saw the difference. He honestly had great God-given genetics from his father. He became very strong. He became much more, mentally driven. And the final test was me and Dante took him to the football field, and we played some flag football. He was extremely athletic. He could catch a ball, move around, good agility. Really, we were like, we were always like, man, like you could be more. You could be more. Like I was always inspiring so much love for the intelligence he gave me. And we switched to tackle football. So we switched to tackle football. He laid me out. And he hit my switch. He hit my pit bull switch. And I laid him out the next play to showcase that, hey, dude, males are going to put out your fire and you got to relight. He was able to relight after that, but overall, my mother told me and popped my aura in fucking like 3 words. Don't change people. Boom. Pop my aura. And it was getting to a point where our senior projects were going to get graded. I got a C. I did the entire senior project. MSI Fresho presented his project. They gave him a 92 standing ovation. I'm honestly heartbroken over all the effort I put into that, and that it wasn't, I just felt like the system was against me. Of course, MSI Fresho, they think he did a great job, where the judges at my senior project be like, you're lazy, you didn't do anything, and you obviously scraped by. Where if you actually saw my story behind the scenes, I constantly had to get Dr. Miggich to open up the house. I constantly had to go out of my way to make sure he was eating correctly. I got him results. It was documented, right? It was visually very noticeable. Now, was he going to look like a pro bodybuilder? No. But I put him on the right track. Me and MSI Fresho, we met up. I'm upset. I'm in a bipolar mania. I'm very upset about this because, I don't know, he gave me so much intelligence, and all I wanted to do was do something for him where I was pouring my absolute heart into him, and I wanted to see a difference. And he came up to me smiling. I still remember this. He came up to me smiling, like, what'd you get? And I went barely a 70. And his devastation, he's like, well, I'll go to the principal's office and I'll make this right. And that's where my mania fully hit. I'm like, no, it's fine. He can see my pain. He was able to deal and control my mania exceptionally well. He made the Sigma. He balanced this Aquarius persona with the Capricorn cusp. He balanced it all. He was that glacier ice. He was that unconditional love. And he was that ultra hyper intelligence that I needed to make the Sigma. And he's like, do you want to go to the principal's office? I said no. I was devastated after. I then began to recall my energy and process the separation of MSI Fresho. And by the way, a lot of individuals were concerned about me being hyper friends with MSI Fresho, and the Chad jocks of the group were inviting me in their friend groups because they saw that I just dated Carolyn and I was hanging out with MSI Fresho all the time, and they were trying to showcase me another path. And like I said, I only listen to Angie, I only listen to my family, I only listen to Carolyn, right? I'm very stubborn. I'm very stubborn on I do what I want to do. The rebel never dies. The Aquarius is the rebel. The Aquarius is walking karma, right? I recall my energy from MSI Fresho, and he almost ices me completely. That's when I learned that was a GG by MSI Fresho, whether he wanted it or not. I got barked down by my mom that you don't try and change people like that, and that I learned my lesson on God, and that was my punishment, right? And I actually adapted my dichotomy a lot, knowing that, fire wasn't as good as I thought. I remember that senior year with MSI Fresho, I'm like, I'm going to conjure so much fire and just burn, and just literally inferno him. By the end of the year, he's a different person. Defeated by ice, I'm a fan of Italian ice. You know, it runs through my veins, but that really taught me after a year of that dichotomy where it was a full-blown senior project. It was fully me trying to give back to him. All that intelligence, all that hyper-fast brain activity that he gave me, all the insight into the incel world where I have made my content about individuals like MSIO Fresho to become original gangsters, to not just be a copycat, to use everything that I provide here at this YouTube channel in their own path. And everyone has their own flavors of biohacking, and I just like to be my own original gangsta flavor. And MSIO Fresho taught me that ice beats fire most of the time, and that the way to use fire is to ice shave and then boop, then hit the heart. Then hit the heart. Don't just use an inferno. Don't use an inferno. I learned those lessons very hard. That was a very hard path for me to learn. And I still held on to MSIO Fresho's teachings about everything in that world. And yeah, I didn't go to the principal's office. You know, I walked away, and that was in that destiny that I didn't go to the principal's office. I am so excited to move on with my life. This video was tough for me to make, and I sincerely appreciate everyone sticking with me. I sincerely appreciate everyone that knows my morals and character, and I sincerely appreciate the Secret Service for protecting my family and allowing me to make this video. As I said, my mother on a recorded phone call said I was a victim. My mother on a recorded phone call said I had a lot of grief. I hope everyone is doing well. Ryan Russo is back. Archangel Ryan James Russo. I am with God. No more Demon Russo. That was never going to be a thing. I love my family. I love Carolyn. And I truly love my family vibration being with me. I truly love my kids carrying my personal tism. That's maxed in the tism that I want. It's maxed in the tism I want. I will not play God and yank people's vibes and create an ultimate vibe and mix vibes, and if you don't listen to me, I'll just yank your vibe. I am a God-given starseed by Aunt Jeannie blessing me with that ability. I serve the big G in the sky. I fear the big G in the sky. I walk with God. I stay up like Donald Trump. Leo made the lion. This quantum event of getting this statue, that moment is worth unlimited money. Money is fake. This moment of that quantum moment where I break down and I couldn't handle myself. I couldn't handle myself for days after this quantum moment of Leo made the line. I want justice. I want God to bring justice. I fucking earned this vibration for my family. In fact, you know, I just want to see the truth revealed. I want to see the cabal fall. I want to see the lifting of the veil. And I serve the collective. I serve the collective. I'm just a man that was saved by God. I was anointed by God. And the devil tried to sacrifice me, but God intervened. God saw the character that I was. God saw the character that I was. And I thought nobody was listening and everyone around me was hurting me. But God saw and God saved me. And I know that God walks with me, and he saw me carrying that cross. He saw me carrying that cross, and he came to me. And I never questioned God. I never questioned God. I never questioned God. I never questioned God. I fear God. I serve the big G in the sky. I serve the big G in the sky. My mother on a recorded phone call said I have a lot of grief. My mother on a phone call that was recorded said I was a victim. I wrote some stuff. Make Jeannie proud. I'm here to protect freedom of speech. My star seed was stolen. My destiny was stolen. This was a long road, but I have finally arrived at peace, tranquility. I'm unbothered. I need to show that emotion. I don't want anyone to go through anything like that. I commend Justin Bieber for making that yummy music video. I commend Elon Musk for dropping the Stargate bar, for dropping the Diablo bar, and like I said, MSIO Fresho, which is the icon of the Red Dragon, Ryan Russo, a Draco killer. It is truly going to be an exceptional life moving forward after this, and I just wanted to thank my original audience for sticking with me during all that, believing me, and for, commenting Jesus loves you during those times. I saw those comments that Jesus love you. I saw those light workers. All my audience are original gangsters. You get my vibe, my authentic vibe for me, my family. But if you want to watch, you can implement me, which isn't a mixture of this vibe. It's not a mixture. It's just my vibe. It's not this perfectly crafted, disgustingly rigged thing, pretending to be God, interfering with the children of God. God brings justice. God brings wrath. We reap what we sow. It's just my vibe. It's my tism. You can take my tism, but I want you to adapt it to your own path. I encourage self-exploration. I encourage self-imagination. I don't want to create drones. As my friend Alex says, I don't want to be a part of the fucking bot factory. When the real niggas die, fake niggas multiply. These are all bars that have already been said. I just like to get toted up in Tism Town. I will see you guys in my next video.